Hello, my name is Vandeputte. I'm a professional time-lapse photographer living in London. This channel is all about time-lapse travel and tutorials, and today we're doing another tutorial. This time it's about de-flickering. I'll slow down now. Time-lapse flicker is an artifact that you see in a lot of beginners' time-lapse footage. It looks like this. It's a dead giveaway that the person isn't fully in control yet of either the shooting or the post-processing aspect of time-lapse photography, and I'm here today to help you with that. A lot of time-lapse flickering is caused by what is called aperture flicker, which is the mechanical aperture or the iris in your lens not closing entirely accurately. With Canon cameras, you actually can use the depth of field preview button to close your aperture, untwist your lens, and keep that aperture locked. Not all cameras do this, sadly. Other ways you can stop aperture flickering from happening is by using a manual lens or shooting wide open as wide as you can. A lot of you have f4 lenses, maybe a 2.8, maybe a f1.4. That's not always ideal because that's often not the sharpest your lens is. My preferred method is the aperture twist or aperture lock method, but you can only do that with Canon, so that's not always ideal. So what happens if you still end up with aperture flickering and you want to fix it? Now there's a couple of ways that you can fix it. We'll talk about some paid ways, and we'll talk about a cheap freebie way as well, depending on how you look at it. The first way to de-flicker stuff, my most recommended way, is using the professional time-lapse software called LR Timelapse. I've got some videos about that. If you want to have a rundown or see what's new in LR Timelapse, watch that stuff up there. LR Timelapse is made specifically for time-lapse photographers. It looks at all your photos in your sequence, notices little jumps in exposure up or down, and then fixes the exposure per photo so that it's a smooth, flicker-free video, time-lapse video. Now, this software costs money. There's a free version of LR Timelapse, but then you're limited to a certain amount of photos. There's paid versions, but not everybody always wants to pay, so what else can you do? There's a plugin for After Effects called GB Flicker, which does a similar thing to LR Timelapse, but it's a plugin for After Effects, which is what I just said. What if you don't have After Effects, or what if you don't want to buy a plugin? There is another way. There's a free way if you already have editing software, which I assume you do because you're here to learn about making videos, and I assume you have editing software, right? The free solution for your non-linear editing software, which can be Premiere Pro or Avid, if anyone uses Avid. I doubt that a lot of you use Avid, or Final Cut. It's called frame blending. So in theory, what's going to happen is you're going to have your video file, and then you're going to average out exposures from frames before and after that one frame that you're looking at right now. What this does is it levels out that flickering because it's going to take an average value of a lot of frames and compile it into one. So what this does is it levels out your exposures. Now this can look quite ugly and it can be quite heavy on your processor, but it is a free way to do it. It's a nifty little hack. And there you have it. 3 ways to de-flicker and a couple of ways to not get flickering at all to start off with. It's always best to get it right in camera. And there you have it, a couple of ways to de-flicker and a couple of ways to not get flicker at all. I hope this was useful for you. If you want to learn more about time-lapse, guess what? I've got 2 ebooks about time-lapse. I've got one Ultimate Time-Lapse Guide, and then we've got an astrophotography add-on. People seem to really enjoy them. It's got all of my time-lapse knowledge from the past 8 years. That's how long I've been doing this professionally, condensed into these ebooks, and yeah, people love it. There's another extra couple freebies in there. Check it out down below. Check out my website. I've got blog posts. I've got a whole YouTube channel with hundreds of videos about time-lapse and travel. And yeah, I mean, look, we're at the end here. I'm rambling. Like, share, comment, subscribe. What else can you do? Not much. But I appreciate you being here still at the end screen. Here are some of my other videos. Subscribe button's right there. Ebook links down there as well.